All right, yesterday in between the raindrops, I went to Home Depot and bought 1/2 inch insulating board. Let's see what the numbers say. Yeah, so I got the 1/2 inch, the R3.2, 4 foot by 8 foot by 1/2 inch thick. I got 3 boards. So here's my thought. You know, we had taken the halogen work light, put it inside this box with temperature probes, and we were able to get it up to 160 or 155, but like I need to fit that board at a minimum if I want to just test one board, and that's not going to fit in there. So I need to make a bigger kiln chamber. So I thought I'd go get some foam board and start there. So that's a 4x8 sheet, and if we had a 4x8 side and the other sides, that's a pretty substantial volume to now try to heat with one said halogen lamp or a heater. So these are some of the boards that I cut up today that we want to practice on drying from 16% moisture content down to 6 or 8 and to sterilize. So that is like maybe 6.5 foot long, I think. So my thought is going to be to make a box that fits that to start with. So I think I'm going to cut this, 2 of those. So I'm going to have 2 foot high, 2 foot wide, and it's going to be 8 foot long. I'm going to fit 6-inch boards in here, and I'll have room to put a heater and a fan at one end. And I don't know how all that gets put together. I bought some 2x4s in case I may need to make framing, but I'm thinking maybe I can just like tape it together for now to see if we're even getting close before I start making, you know, more expensive maneuvers. Okay, so at one point I thought about ripping those to 2x2s to make a frame, but I'm not quite sure exactly yet. So I'd hate to waste the wood, so I might just tape this into a section and see what it looks like with packing tape. Dun, dun, dun. Well, we got that side taped there, and we're going to tape this side on. But when it goes time to load it, like this side's going to have to come off. Like it can't like have that permanently attached. There's no way to load it. Right now, I think just for a temperature test, I'm going to load stuff from the top. I'll put ends on it and sides, and then the top I will just rest on top. So I will have to ponder how to make removable panels that's like have some supports that slide in and lock in, and then maybe on the inside joints I'll have to do like one of those things they use for door jams between the door and the storm door and the door in the wintertime. What do they call them? All right, we just used packing tape, and we made this a box, and we have a lid for it. And I think we're just going to practice, see if we can heat this up with our halogen lamp, or maybe our other little space heater, and see what temperatures we can get and the difference between that end and this end. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so I got the space heater in there connected to a switch, we got a temperature probe here. I got the other temperature probe down at this end, going to this data logger, and a board in there just for shits and giggles. I'm gonna put the top on. Let's see what's happening. All right, here we go. We're running 69.5 on this end, and over here we are running, let's see if I can see, 69.9 on this end, and we will now commence heat. All right. All right, well, this end we're getting up to 95. This end where the heater is, it looks like we're 130. Huh. Wonder why this end's hot. I would have thought the hot air blows down that way. Well, I guess this is the end we gotta watch. Alright, so it looks like we've got up to 140. I heard it click, so I think the over temperature kicked in. We got it a little bit too warm. So it's strange that this end is warmer, and then this end looks like it got up to maybe 110. So we got the space heater in there. We're manually using that switch, manually cycling between 130, and then let it cool to 120, and then back up to 130. Alright, I'm just gonna let that go, and then I'm gonna turn it off before I forget, because I don't. It's already over. Alright, so let's turn it off. Okay, so that's up at 130. It's between 120 and 130. So this temperature is the one right by the fan, so that's 130. 86 is the one that's right about this level. 129, I think, is the one over there, and then that one is 117. This one is right on top of the board. Oh, it stopped, but it was up to like 85. Yeah, so it seems like it's hot towards the top, not so hot towards the bottom. Yeah, just for shits and giggles, let's look at the IR camera. Right, so the walls of this thing are looking like it's 72. You can kind of see the seam up at the top. Let's take a look at the temperature coming out of here. Like 90. Down here is an opening. It's 80. It's 82 down here. Air coming out. But you know, overall, it looks like its sides are pretty cool, and just the seams. This side's getting a heat source that can get up to 160 and a controller to keep it there. I think issues are that the hot air rises, so maybe I should raise my stack up to the top. It'll be hotter up there. And I really should look into, you know, baffling on the inside. I didn't do any baffling, just let it run. So just trying some things. All right, let's take a peek in here. I think I already took a peek, so let's see what's going on. So this number here, the second one's always been like in the 80s, right? The other ones, and the second one, Rory, is that one. And if we look in here, it's actually all the way down on the bottom of the thing. That one is right next to the heater. That one's hanging there, and then this one is hanging here. So interesting that that was reading the air temperature at the bottom, which I I would have thought with the fan blowing right on it. But yeah, I guess it's probably actually touching, so it's probably actually measuring the temperature of the foam board. And let's move down here. Now, this data logger is up to like 86, but when we look, whoa, I think we're gonna find that, well, I guess it's not actually touching, but it's right on top of the board. Yeah, so definitely cooler at the bottom.